y'all, never mind me.
Hey everybody, I was thinking about a video I saw the other day. It was a pastor talking about the importance of hard work and how this generation, millennials and beyond rather, have to learn the value of hard work. And he made some inferences and said all they want to do is look in the mirror and make videos on YouTube, but you got to work hard. And I don't recall the pastor's name, and it's really kind of not important because it's not so much him I wanted to talk about, or pastors in general. But what I was thinking about is dinosaurs. And what I mean by dinosaurs is just another way to talk about people that are from an older time, and they move slower, and it's more in regard to their ideologies and what they believe to be the best way to do things and the most effective way to do things, or even how they view progress. And self-admittedly, I am not the most progressive on a lot of topics, and I don't say that to allude that I am trying to become progressive on some of those topics. Some I am, but some I'm very much like a dinosaur, very antiquated, very almost extinct as we go into the future. So when I speak about that, I'm speaking about myself included to some degree. But what kind of struck me, and you hear these messages, especially in church, you hear messages like that, and you hear, just in general conversation with older people, how they view the younger generation. And I do my very best not to be so separatist. I don't like to be separatist in anything I do, and that's including even the newer generation. There's a lot of things that they do or say that I don't necessarily understand or even agree with, that I do understand, but I try to give it a fair shake. And I ask questions if I want to know, or I just decide some of the things may just not be for me, and that's fine too. But I think that it's interesting in regard to what because the pastor that said that, he's not the only one that I've ever heard say that. And I think people really don't understand how what goes into some of those things. And he was alluding to that you just want to get on YouTube and hopefully make $1 million. And I think there's always been some form of the hoop dream. Every generation has their hoop dream. I know my generation, it was probably rap music. Everybody wanted to be a rapper, have a rap group, or maybe have a singing group a little bit before me, have a singing group before that. And singing groups were big, especially in black communities, in terms of your hoop dream, so to speak. And hoop dream would just be your way to get, to get out of where you live, to make more money, and to buy your mom a house and buy a couple cars, and whatever your shine is for your generation, jewelry or land or whatever it is. And I think the hoop dream for now is still possibly rap to some degree, or music to some degree, and it's largely being a social media influencer, because it's very lucrative, and it's not really a new thing. Just the manner in which we do it is kind of new, because you've always had people that were looking to, in some cases, be popular, be famous, be successful for whatever, and they'll do whatever to do it. Not saying that the influencers now are or are not doing that, but you get the gist of it. So what's interesting is that earlier this year, I think there was a movie or a documentary called, it was either called Famous or Insta Famous. And anyway, it was about, it was like a social experiment where the director of the movie, he had an open casting call, and he narrowed it down to 3 people who wanted to be famous. So all these people, the criteria was that they had to have Instagram follower page that was less than like 10,000 or something, like less than a couple thousand. And their goal was to basically make them famous. So they got them photo shoots. They had them in different outfits and different locales, and really, really nice places, really professional photographers, professional clothes. and they bought bots. And bots are essentially computer programs that comment or click the like button, or click the love button on your pages, and it's basically feedback. So you can pay for these bots to give you feedback, which drive up your numbers. And he wanted to know, the director of the film, how many bots he could buy, and at what point would it turn from fake bots, fake followers and likes and comments, to real people. And the interesting thing about that, and how it ties into what we're talking about right now, is that the sheer amount of work excuse me, that these people had to put in. Now, for the people that were the subjects of the Insta Famous film, it was all being done for them, but they did interact with real Instagram and other social media influencers, and the level of work that they had to do was no easy task. So for me, when I saw the number of posts that they have to make, the number of pictures that they had to do, the setups they would do for this created life, this desired persona, this don't you want to be like this, that they lifestyle that they would sell. They sell a lifestyle that people want to emulate, and because of that, the brands tend to flock to them to offer their merchandise, so people can say, oh, I want to live like that and drive those cars and wear that jewelry or perfume or eat those foods or stay in those hotels or eat at the restaurants that they're going to. It's no different than, there was a show by a guy named Robin Leach from years ago called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And he would do the same thing. He would go to opulent houses and really chic locations and talk to celebrities and really wealthy people, and just a day in their life. But it's no different than that, except it's on a much more localized level. You can see people that live in your city, people that don't look so different from you, but it sells you a lifestyle, and that's what advertising has been for many, many years. But back onto the topic, it to say that these people, like it's a bad thing to want to be successful. I don't think that's a bad thing. B, just because this is a new medium to be successful, I don't think it's anything to vilify. And C, there's a ton of hard work. It's not backbreaking labor, but then again, I think much of the Western Hemisphere is going toward service industry more so than manufacturing industry, so that type of backbreaking labor is not really common in a lot of households. A lot of households are veering more toward, like I said, service industry, or a lot of households have college education, or at least some college experience, so a lot more of the jobs are going to be geared toward not necessarily using physical labor, or not necessarily hard on your physical body. It may be mentally taxing or emotionally taxing, but not so much hard on your physical body. Whereas in previous years, when we were more of a manufacturing country, that might have been a different story. But what I don't like about that overall thing is that you kind of marginalize these things that do take hard work, and people are discouraged and say, well, yeah, this is not a real thing, I shouldn't do that. And what it gets me to is that there's an overall message that you kind of have to taper to. I understand he has to taper to his audience, speaking about the pastor, but what I'd like to do, and I'm talking to myself first and then to anybody else who listens to this podcast, what I'd like to do is make sure that whatever you do, whatever you decide to do with your time and with your energy that you have on this earth, you have to work hard at it to be successful. If you want to be successful across the board, you have to work hard at it. Nothing's going to be given to you. Nothing's going to be free. You have to put in the effort, even if it's something as new, as the pastor was saying, as a social media influencer. You have to put in the time. You have to take those pictures. You have to arrange the outfits. You have to coordinate the colors. You have to coordinate the shoots and the people that are going to be involved with those shoots. You have to make sure that it looks how you want it to look, to solicit the brands that you want and to convey a message that you want. because there are millions of people that have Instagram pages, but very, very few are able to use those pages effectively to monetize it, to make a living off of it, and to get to a point where you don't actually have to do a traditional 9 to 5 anymore. But all of that takes a lot of work, some luck, but it takes a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous amount of organizational skills. So I think what's important, and it's not just with social media, but I think what's important is that you understand the full spectrum of what is required, because in doing the social media thing, influencing, there's a lot of skill sets that you have to develop. You can use that as a project manager. You can become an entrepreneur, because now you have a thriving business that is driven by you. So you have to study trends. You have to study the market. You have to be aware of what is going to get you to the position that you want to be in, and what will drive you beyond that. So you're talking about sales and marketing at that point. You're talking about business management at that point. You're talking about branding, which is huge at that point. So there's so many different things that are involved with it. And I think that, and I can't say, but I'll take the brunt of it for the lack of a better understanding. I think the pastor in question it seemed to me that he was aiming for low-hanging fruit, that I'll get a quick thumbs up or a quick amen. And in that regard, it's not that much different than a social media influencer, that you're hitting sometimes the low fruit just for the quick amen. But that's not the bulk of what it should be, because you can stress the importance of hard work and still mention those people that are successful. They put in the hard work, because if you're lazy, even at a hard working job, you won't get the results that you want. Even if it's a traditional, more physical labor job or a non-skilled job, if you don't work hard, you're not going to get the results you want. Your hours won't be the same, and your pay won't be as high as you desire it to be. Just like in any other profession, you have to put in the work. And I think that that's the most important thing. The work ethic is established as you work, and you can prove to other people that, yes, I am someone you can count on, and yes, I am someone who wants to do the job and who wants to do it well. And I think that translates across the board, whatever you do. And it was just interesting because, like I said, as a person who has views that I think are very archaic or very dinosaur-like, I think that we have to be aware of when things change, things don't change so drastically that it has no bearing on what used to be. You still have to work hard. You still have to be accountable. You still have to be responsible. You still have to cater to the people that are over you. And you still, if you're in sales, which is what, social media is essentially doing, if you're in sales, you have to cater to the customer. You have to understand what they want and provide that. And I think that's a missed opportunity to reach across the board for the sake of a quick amen, or a quick, yeah, young people don't understand. I think that we're better than that. So I guess that's kind of where it stems from. I think that we're better than hitting the low hanging fruit just for the sake of a quick quote unquote affirmation. And that's the same thing with social media. Lots of people, the reason why there are millions upon millions of pages is that you get a quick like and you get a quick buzz, and there's probably some serotonin release when you get a quick like, and you put up a page and you get hearts and people comment on it. You get something from that. But I think what's more important is that you actually build something substantial. So likes are great and cool, but if you can use those more effectively, you can find a way to monetize it and come off of your job. Amens are well and cool, but if you use that properly, you can change people's life and have them living in a better manner. More so than just being inspired, they can be changed and transformed, which is what I think we should be shooting for, especially in regard to the minister talking about the gospel. Lots of transformative things that we should be shooting for that I think sometimes we miss the mark for whatever reason, and we go for the low-hanging fruit. But those are just my thoughts, and it's, of course, incomplete thoughts, but it all kind of ties together, because we have to embrace the old and the new, and understand that in the new there are traces of the old, because each generation builds upon the one prior to it. So we can't not acknowledge the prior generation, and we can't marginalize the newer generation, because to quote I believe it was Snoop Dogg, he said he is I and I am them, same way we are them and they are us. So all right,